Hello, hi. In this video, I'm going to be talking about how deep relaxation work can really help to redirect thought patterns and to shift yourself away from intrusive thoughts. And intrusive thoughts, might also be called obsessive thoughts or obsessional thoughts. And really you can use this technique for any kind of negative thought that's repeating and that you want to shift yourself away from. I'm Orla Kirby. I'm a therapist and I specialise in helping people to learn how to move themselves away from anxiety, particularly severe anxiety and or OCD. Okay, so first of all in this video I'm going to cover 3 different means of moving yourself into a deeply relaxed state. So I'm going to talk a bit about deep breathing. I'm going to talk about eye defocusing, putting your eyes into a soft gaze, and I'm going to talk about muscle relaxation. And then right at the end I'm going to cover some kind of specific technique that you can use to engage the imaginative part of yourself as well, so that helps with the deep relaxation. And I'm going to just choose something very simple and go through how you can experience this visually or more by sound or more kinesthetically by feel, depending on what works best for you. To start with breathing, right? This is probably almost the most commonly known one, right? I'm imagining, you may already have heard the idea that deep, slow breathing can help with being relaxed, right? At the same time, people are not always, super aware of how to do that in a way that's going to work really excellently for them. Someone could easily think, oh, well, I'm breathing deeply and that just doesn't help. And that might be because there's an issue with technique, or simply that they haven't been practicing that long enough, because it takes a little while for that message to get through to the deep subconscious mind, that message of safety that the deep breathing is giving and providing. Because essentially if I'm breathing really slowly and calmly and in a kind of flowing way, then my mind and body know at a really deep level that I'm safe, that everything is relatively okay. And that's because, if someone was, God forbid, pushing me off a cliff or something, I wouldn't be breathing slowly in that moment, right? If I'm in a life or death, high danger situation, there's no way I'm managing to breathe really slowly. And the mind and body are aware of that. So it's deeply convincing. However, if our stress levels or our anxiety levels have been overly high for too long, for a really long time, then what's going to happen is that data, the passageway that data travels along, is going to become narrower over time. Now that can open up again, that can change, and all that needs to happen is for more and more data to be fed along that pathway, and it will open up again, it will become as wide as it was before. But that takes a little time to change. So first of all, there's a technique issue, and also there's an issue of allowing some time for the brain to shift and be able to hear that message clearly. And if you'd like to know more about how and why that works, if you go to orlakirby.com/how your brain works, you can find more information there about the hows and whys of that, why it is that it can take a little while for slow breathing practice to really kick in, why it needs that commitment. I'm not going to fully go through breathing technique in this video because it's quite I'm going to go through it a little bit, but it's a detailed thing to learn. But I will give almost summary points, and then I'll let you know where you can find more information on that. So in terms of learning a slow, deep breathing technique, you want to be able to not pause at the top of your breath or at the bottom of your breath. So ideally you want to be always breathing in or breathing out, because this creates the minimum amount of tension, right? And it's lovely and reassuring for your mind and body that oxygen is like a steady flow and there's no interruption, right? So that's the first thing, is to be breathing in and breathing out, and not to have kind of breathing in and stopping and holding your breath and then breathing out and stopping and holding your breath, right? So that's quite important. Then another element is to be moving your chest and your tummy. So quite often people are either holding with their chest or they're holding with their tummy, and ideally we want both moving together, like in and then out, right? And that can take a little while to practice and to learn. Generally, it is more calming to use a longer out breath. So some people might recommend in for 7, out for 11, or you could do in for 6, out for 8, or in for 4, out for 8. You know, there are different versions of this. But, you know, if you can get to a 4-8 breath where the out breath is actually double the length, this is very deeply calming. And that might take a little while to build up to. So you might want to start with practicing like a 4-4 breath and build your way gradually up to a 4-8, right? In for 4, out for 8. Yeah. And really worth learning. If you want more detailed instructions on that, you can go to orlakirby.com /learn to meditate. And there's a whole 6 videos as part of that walk you through the breathing technique in real detail. Yeah, but really worth giving some time to that deep, slow breathing, because it helps with redirecting away from thoughts that you want to redirect away from, because you can do this by shifting your state, right? So if I put myself in a deeply calm state and I get really good at accessing that quickly, relatively easily, it's almost like, well, the thought can't quite exist in the same way when I'm in that state, right? So in the previous 2 videos, we were looking more at shifting into a different thought. This is coming at it from a different angle, right, from a different place, where we're looking at shifting emotional state into a deeply calm state. And then it's almost like the thought is going to disintegrate or change. We're going to feel different about the thought. So it's a different approach. Yeah, so breathing, and I would recommend probably at least 10 minutes practice in the morning. 20 minutes practice would be amazing. But you want to practice at least 10 minutes every morning, pretty much every morning for a while, right? Give this 2 or 3 months to really build up, and you will see a really great result from that, right? And then you can use the breathing in a moment of wishing to redirect, right? So if I have this practice where I'm breathing every 10 minutes in a lovely, deep, slow way, this flowing way, and then at some point on a Wednesday, I experience a thought that I don't want to be experiencing, I want to shift away from that, I can at that point think, oh, I'm going to use that breathing. I'm going to use that breathing to access this calm state. And then that really shifts what's going on in terms of your thoughts. Another way into deep relaxation is to defocus your eyes, right? So this is where, if I pick a corner of the room, whatever room you're in now, if you pick either the top corner of the room, or you could pick the corner of a television or the corner of a door, you know, pick something square or a painting, and just pick one corner, right? And I want you to focus your eyes really hard on that corner, right? Really hard focus. So this is what I look like when I'm really focusing. I'm going to pick the edge of the door here, okay? Okay. And if you do that, you'll notice that actually you want to spread out a bit from there, right? There's a natural urge. If you really focus in tightly, like you have to remember everything about the corner of that door. You have to really remember it. Naturally, your eyes kind of go, oh, they want to expand outward from there. So just allow that to happen. Allow your eyes to take in more, and then take in more, and just allow yourself to really go with that. Allow that to open and expand further until you get to a stage where actually you're taking in the whole of the room around you. It feels very deeply calming to be in this relaxed gaze. So at the moment now, if I hold my hands here, I can see both of them, right? Not clearly, but they are there in my peripheral vision. Yeah. So, and you probably also in this state have a sense of where the wall is behind you. You're more in touch with your surroundings generally. Okay, so that is a really wonderful one to practice. And actually, in terms of working with clients, I found that once people practice this, while breathing can calm you very quickly, you can calm yourself very quickly and immediately once you get really practiced with it through deep breathing. This eye defocusing can actually work even faster, right? It can work even more swiftly in accessing deep calm, right? So really valuable to learn this and practice it. And it is as simple as just going through what we did just now and spending some time in this state. It's going to be easiest when you're not distracted, when you're not doing anything else. But then practice it when you're out and about. Practice it while you're walking along. Practice it while you're talking to someone. Just maintaining that spread of your vision so you can see all the way around to either side. And then again, if you experience a thought that you want to redirect away from, you want to shift out of, simply by putting yourself in this calm state with this defocused, wider vision, which it's a way of accessing what in NLP you call the coaching state or the learning state. That is going to shift you emotionally, right? It's going to make you feel much, much calmer. And then again, it's like the thought can't really exist in the same way, right? It just can't. So it's either going to disintegrate, or it's going to really shift in a positive way, or you were going to feel differently about that thought, and more able to do something else if you want to at that point. Then the third way of putting yourself into a relaxed state that I'm going to talk about is to use relaxation physically, right? In particular, relaxing your face is very powerful, right? I actually have an audio. I have a couple of audios that take you through facial relaxation, which I don't think I have a way of accessing now, but if you wanted those, if you email me, I'd be happy to send them to you. And at some point, if I make a resource with that in, I will link to that below in the description. But if you simply take yourself through, deep relaxation of your face, think about relaxing your eyes, the muscles around your eyes, and think about relaxing the muscles around your jaw and mouth. And just really, really relax all the muscles of your face. And you might want to imagine something like that your face is made of warm, heavy clay. It's warm and soft and pliable. You find that your mouth opens, just because the mouth naturally opens if it's not being kind of clenched shut or held shut, and your face feels heavy and easy and relaxed. And then you're going to move that all down your body. So think about that spreading across the top of your head, all the small muscles of your scalp, opening, 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 opening. And that feels great. That feels really good. Okay. And then you're just going to move that down your body and think about that warm glow of relaxation surrounding your neck and throat, and then surrounding your shoulders, surrounding your upper body, down your arms, surrounding all around your lower body, and down past your knees, past your ankles, to your feet, even the soles of your feet, your toes. Okay, so you can do it in that way imaginatively. You can relax your whole body. You can also do a kind of physical progressive relaxation. You might not want to do this while you're in public, or you might, but this is where you really scrunch up your face in a weird way, and then you relax in. You can do the same, really scrunch up your shoulders and then relax them. And again, the physical relaxation, it's because essentially, if you think of how our muscles would be if we're in a fight or flight state, they'd be kind of tensed in order to attack, tensed in order to run. And this is going with the opposite of that, right? And it's not an equal sign, right? It's not necessarily that if our muscles are relaxed, then we are emotionally relaxed. Not at all, right? That's not the case. However, there is an association that we can work with, right? And if you practice putting yourself into a physically relaxed state while going into emotional relaxation, right? And you could use breathing too to help with that, or the eye thing to help with that too. Then you're building that association, right? And that means that then if you're in a particular situation where you're experiencing, a negative thought, an obsessive thought, a very irrational thought, an intrusive thought, a thought that you want to move away from, you can think, I'm going to really relax my shoulders. I'm going to relax my jaw, right? And imagine this glow of relaxation spreading all around and through all of your muscles. And again, that's going to shift you into a really different state. And in that relaxed state, the thought that was filling your mind isn't really able to exist in the same way, right? You've created an environment in yourself that doesn't support that thought, right? Yeah, so, you know, it's a very powerful thing to do. And in particular, practicing all of those three would be incredibly powerful, because sometimes one is going to work better for you than another, depending on the situation. Okay, so I said that I was also going to include a technique that goes through, you know, a specific technique that's more imaginative, but I think actually I'm going to make a whole separate video about that, because I can see I've already been talking for quite a long time. So the next video will be on this specific imaginative technique that you can use in combination with these things to access deep relaxation. I just want to say at the end here that with all of these, with all three of those techniques, the breathing and the eye defocusing and the relaxation physically of muscles, these are all going to work much more effectively for you if you practice them regularly, right? Just like anything. So if you set aside some time each day to practice one or all of these, it's going to be easier then to dip into them when you need to shift your emotional state. And that will then, in turn, radically shift what's going on in terms of thoughts. Okay, thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.